Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So today we are probably going to be on one of my favorite videos on this channel so far, which is the World War II American canteens. Now, if the American canteens are not the pride of my collection, it is my two German canteens, which I have shown before and done a video on. So if you want to, go back and watch that after this video. But we're going to be talking about the 1910 and 1942 in this video, and also a little on the porcelain and Ethicel canteen. Now, I'm not going to talk deeply on the porcelain Ethicel, so if that's what you're looking for, I'm sorry. I don't own either of those canteens, so I don't want to do a deep dive in it until I actually have one. So realistically right now, I'm just going to talk about my 1910 and 1942. Now, I have one 1910 from World War II, and I have three 1942s from World War II. The reason they're called the 1942 is because that was the year they were designated. The M1942 made from 1943 to 1945, and the 1910 in World War II was made from 1941 to 1945. They made these slightly in in World War II in the year of 1941. 1941, not a lot were made, but there was still some made, so they are a collector's piece in 1941. So you will usually end up seeing 1942 through 45. This one is 1945 by AGM Co., which might not show well on camera, but that is what it is. And then, where did my nice one go? Right here. This is my best looking 1942 canteen in the sense of designation. 1942 designation. Turn this over. Should be this way. Yeah. You can see U.S. Vollrath 1943 on the bottom, even though it's really hard to make out. But that is what it is. So, we're going to start off with the companies that made the canteens, and once we kind of go through that, I'm going to go on ahead and talk about the porcelain one, and then, the aluminum one, stuff like that. So right now, I have a big list here on all the canteen makers, but they're not all canteen makers. There is some that made canteen cups, mess kits, and canteens. So I'm going to go over the ones that I know of that made canteens, that I have seen or know have made canteens. So we're going to start off with World War II. I'm not going to talk about World War I because World War I, I've already done a video on those. And some of these I feel like are kind of just repeats from World War I, so I'm not going to go over that, especially since some of these I'm not even sure if they made canteens during World War II, like BA Co., Buckeye Aluminum Company. I don't know if they made canteens during World War II, so I'm not going to go over them. But AGM Co., which is Aluminum Goods Manufacturing Company, they made canteens during World War I and II. So I'm going to go over them as my first one, since I have one of those. They were one of the companies that I know of on my list here. Not sure if they made one. FE Co., not sure if they made one. So GP&F Co., which is Güter, Paschke, and Frey Company. Don't own one of those, but they made the 1942s. I believe from 1943 through 45, just like Vollrath and SM Co. Another one is Swanson and Vollrath. Like I said, got a Vollrath right here. Do not own a Swanson. They both made 1942 style canteens. When I say 1942, I mean 1942 style as in the M1942. Another one is SM Co., which I do have an SM Co. right here. This one is 1945, as you can see on the bottom, if it shows up well on camera. If not, that is what it is. I have done a video on these showing each and every one of their bottoms to actually show the date. So if you would like to check that out, go on ahead. Just like the German canteen video and that U.S. canteen video where I showed at least 13 or so. I think it was 11, actually. So that's SM Co., which SM Co. is Southeastern Metals Company. Another one I'm not sure about is SM, which is Singer Manufacturing, not to be confused with SM Co. So they are labeled as SM. Not sure if they made canteens, but if they did, then there you go. RSE, which is Republic Stamping and Enameling. Now, reason I know them is because of the fact that they made aluminum canteens, and they also made the crappy steel porcelain ones, which not really anyone liked, because they were... Why would you bring porcelain into combat, for one? I don't know. Nonetheless, why would you bring it in the first place on crappy steel when in combat it's known for something like that to rust? So, I mean, you know, it was like how the Germans did their enamel canteens during World War I and II. Same concept. That's what it is, essentially. It was just that, too. So, you know, that's a whole nother video. Maybe one day when I get some more, like, canteens and I get a wider variety, I will go and talk about that. But that won't be today. So RSE, like I just mentioned, Republic Stamping and Enameling, they made aluminum, and they made the crappy steel porcelain ones. They've made black porcelain ones. I don't know if they made blue ones, because I've actually never seen a blue one for sale off the top of my head. But the blue ones, I believe, were specifically for Marine Corps or Navy. So, you know, that's also a cool little fact. And also, RSE, they made either this vertical one or this horizontal one, like this, that goes like this, like the 1942 similarly. So yeah, let's get on to the next page. Sorry if me flipping is annoying and me having to read my notes on this. It just makes this easier. But the next one is PP Ink, which is Polaron Products, and that is a double PP, basically. Sorry if that's really immature, sounds like it, but make a joke if you want and say that in the comments. I don't mind. It's a little funny. But Polaron Products never... Not sure if they made canteens, but I'm pretty sure they did. Can't really confirm nor deny that, but that was on my list, so maybe they made canteens, and it's a super rare one, just like some other ones. There are definitely some rare ones I have heard of, so I'll say that. ACA, not sure if they made any during World War II. Can't remember. They did USS Co., which is United States Stoneware Company. They made both aluminum ones of the 1910 style, and they did the 1910 style for the porcelain ones, which I don't even know if the porcelain ones are labeled 1910. I think they're actually designed to be 1942 technically, which doesn't make any sense because I don't really remember what their designation is. They're either 1910 or 42, but I just always called it the porcelain canteens, so if anyone knows that, let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, they made black porcelain canteens, and they made the aluminum ones, like I was just talking about with RSE. They made them as well, and the last one I'm going to talk about is REP Co. REP Co. So basically, REP Company. I don't know what that stands for, but that's because it's not in my notes. I don't think anyone ever really said anything about it. But out of all the companies that I know have made black porcelain canteens is USS Co., REP Co., Volrath, and SM Co. And off the top of my head, that's the only ones I can think of have made any in the black, like, porcelain. Don't know about the blue. Like I said, don't own one, rarely seen them, so that's why. So 1942, they would have made the black porcelain ones, which would have been on a crappy, like really crappy steel, and they would put blue porcelain in rare cases, but usually black porcelain on it to keep it from the rust on it, or sorry, to keep the steel on it from rusting, which realistically they were only made 1 year, so you can tell they were not successful nor liked. So 1943, companies would go on and make the FSL canteen, which was like basically a bougie plastic canteen at that time. Now, they're not like the plastic ones we know and love today, This is a hard plastic one from 1980. They're not like these. They are a whole different material. I forget what material this is, but they were Ethicel at that time. They were really crappy due to the fact that some people, forget who it was, said that the water would taste like crap inside of it. So realistically, the Ethicel canteens, don't drink out of it. The water tastes like crap in it, essentially. Soldiers did not like the Ethicel ones. So 1942, they would have made the designation for this canteen. These M1942 canteens, made from 1943 through 45. And like I said, these were made in 1941 through 45. And yeah, basically I have all 3 years they were made. So let me line them up real quick. So this is my one from 1943. This is Vollrath 1943. I'll just hold it up like this so you can kind of read the tag. Sorry if my handwriting on it was awful. Actually, that's not mine. That was someone else's. But Vollrath 1943. This one is Vollrath 1944. Leave that right there. And then SMCO 1945. They would have also... There was multiple companies making them. Like SMCO, which was SMCO, Vollrath, Swanson, and GP and FCO. Those are the ones I can recall. I believe that's the only ones that actually made the M1942 canteens from 1943 through 45. And one thing I want to mention, actually, during World War II, they actually went on and reused canteens from World War I, like this one here, which is AGMCO 1918. So you put this one side by side with them. You can see this is your World War I canteen. This is your World War II canteen. Same company, just years later. AGMCO 1918, AGMCO 1945. It's super cool, just history there, just to see how much it changed in however many years that is. So I think it's super neat. That almost fell. One cool little fact, though, during World War II, they would make 2 different types of canteen cups. They would make this M1910 style canteen cup, which, sorry if I'm holding it like that, with the rolled rim that they've been doing since literally World War I. This one here, obviously, is just like 1916, 17, stuff like that. It's basically pre-1918 dating. So yeah, they would have made style like this with the rolled rim. They would have made this with the lip that comes out and is not rolled, which this is stainless steel. This one is made by Foley Manufacturing Company in 1945. Now, the handle was pretty rusty, but overall, I think this looks pretty good considering it literally functions the same way as the 1910. This is the 1942. This is the 1910. There is a bit of a difference. Obviously, mostly it pertains with the lip, but if you don't really pay attention to the lip, there's also something else I like looking out for, which is if you notice here where the rivets are there's this little like thing that comes out, this little bulge. You notice on this World War I canteen cup here, it doesn't have it. So this is a cool way to signify the 1942 from World War II all the way up till Vietnam, because they did use these in Vietnam and sometime after. But I believe after Vietnam, they did replace these. Although, I think these were really good. But they replaced them for the butterfly handle ones, which I'm not going over this video because this is solely World War II. So, realistically, World War II, they would have reused World War I stuff like canteen covers, mess kits, canteen cups, stuff like that. would have got reused in World War II. Stuff was still made from 1941 to 45. Even in 1940, there was stuff made. But canteen cups and canteens are made 1941 to 45, which is really cool. And before I end this, I want to talk about the canteen cover. World War I canteen covers, they were more than likely reissued as well, but realistically, early World War II canteen covers still continued to look something like this, with the square box there on the back. But later on in the war, like 1944 to 45, they would make this rectangular box with the hook on it. This is Colette Manufacturing 1945. Colette Manufacturing Company 1945, sorry. Same design for the most part, but it's still a 1910 canteen cover. Just difference in the backing here for what holds in the hook. So you can see, if I put them both side by side, the difference. Different colors as well. They would go for different colors. Like this is a canvas color for like a, forget what the Army designation was for this color, but it's more like a tan canvas. This is more like a OD, like canvas color, like a olive drab green or something like that, which I think is cool because you can see here it's like a darker shade of green, and then it's like a lighter shade of green, or like a tan, something like a kind of dark tan or something. I think it's super cool personally, especially since all of this looks to be original on this one, compared to the fact this one more than likely got a lot of damage and had to have the hook replaced on the back from World War I. So I think that's super cool. Don't want to knock that over. And I believe that is it. Yeah, I think that's it, honestly. Looks like it is it. So, yeah. Like I said, a lot of stuff from World War I got reissued. World War II still made stuff from 1941 to 45. After Pearl Harbor and all that. Even before that, in 1940. Just sums it up, pretty much. But yeah, if you all enjoyed this video, leave a like down below and comment. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video as much as I did. It's been almost 18 minutes already. Also, wanted to thank you all so much for the support lately. We're 5 subscribers away from 100, and I believe we're just over 41,000 views total on this channel. I think that's personally insane. I'm so happy with that because it's been like just under 4 months and a half. And we're getting this good of progress. I mean, it's crazy to me because it's doing better than my gaming channel did in years. Because my gaming channel, I worked on it for years and it never did this good. So, me doing History Channel, being passionate about what I love and showing it to y'all, I'm really happy that just I get to share it and y'all absolutely love it. So, yeah, like I say, next one's going to be on Korea, then Vietnam, and then I'll do a modern one. I'm not going to specifically go over with the modern one. I think I'm just going to talk briefly about some of the stuff, because there was a bunch of different canteens in the modern era that I don't have, nor have a lot of knowledge about. So I'm mostly, for the modern one, going to talk about the hard plastic, because I believe they were used from after Vietnam, or during Vietnam. Actually, yeah, during Vietnam, all the way up until like 2000 something. I don't know what year exactly, but definitely in the 2000s range. They used the hard plastic 1961. So yeah, don't know when the Korea one will be coming out, but the Korea one will hopefully be shorter than this. But yeah, we'll see you all in the next video. Thank you all for the support. Like I said, 5 subscribers away from 100, so let's see if we can get there in the next 2 or so days. And yeah, also gonna be having my D-Day build finished soon, so we will have that coming out soon. Might do a live stream, not sure, but I will be doing multiple videos on it. So if y'all would like to see that soon, keep on subscribing, keep on liking, whatever, because I will come out with it. But if you would love to see it, go on subscribe so you can see it right when it comes out. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day and a great night.